Hello, my name is Roger Fraser, and I'm the Franklin Village Administrator. We're here today to talk about the Headley override proposal and the fact that on November 8th, voters will be asked to override the language of the Headley Amendment and allow the village properly to take back the 3.5 mil authorization that is in the village charter. What is the Headley Amendment? If we go back to 1978, Michigan voters approved the Headley Amendment to the Michigan Constitution. Prior to 1978, real property values were increasing faster than the general rate of inflation. With rapidly escalating housing values, taxable property values increased proportionately, as did property taxes. The Headley Amendment mandates that local property tax rates be adjusted annually to keep increases in property taxes consistent with the annual rate of inflation. So, what's the problem? The consequence of Headley is that it reduces our revenue growth each year. So the village is constrained in meeting the normal increased cost of doing the public's business at the same service levels year after year. During the last 2 fiscal years, the village council balanced the adopted spending plans by taking money from savings. Such a strategy can only work for the short term. Every year, the state provides an adjustment factor, a percentage, that reduces the local property tax rate to conform with a measured rate of inflation for consumer goods. As the village council may determine the need for new or improved services or simply to pay the increasing cost of existing services, Headley restricts property tax growth and thereby restricts the council's ability to serve the community thoughtfully and effectively. It also limits the council's ability to create financial reserves with which to pay for capital repairs or other projects. To counteract this, the voters may decide to override the Headley Amendment to allow a rollback of our millage rate from the current 2.5639 mils to the charter authorized rate of 3.5 mils. Other communities in the recent past have also done a similar override, such as Kalamazoo, Howell, Ann Arbor, Lansing, Birmingham, and Harbor Springs. If you notice on this chart, it shows the 2021 mill levies of Holly, Romeo, and the village of Franklin. You'll notice that each of those communities' rates are significantly higher than the village of Franklin. The general fund forecast with the Headley override presumes a 3% growth over the current year. Even if Headley is approved, it is clear that some reductions in expenditures will be required to balance the budget. So where do your tax dollars, your village tax dollars, go? Out of a typical dollar the village receives, 58 cents goes to police services. Administrative services is 17 cents out of that dollar. Capital outlay is 3.3, engineering 3, building and grounds, maintenance, and accounting are each 2.2 cents, while legal services and economic development require each about 1.8 cents. For about 7 cents more from each dollar, you get additional functions such as support for the Planning Commission, the Historic District Commission, the Zoning Board of Appeals, plus the Quaker House, barn and restrooms, utilities, supplies, liability insurance, CDBG program expense, and other community services. Looking at this chart, I want to tell you that there are many reasons leading to the decision to bring this issue to the voters. The biggest issue is that we have no ability to raise other means of revenue. The majority of our property tax revenue is going to our police. Every year since 2016, our police expenses have increased so that almost exclusively paid through the property tax program. Police costs have also increased faster than other services. Our police pension expense has gone up by a significant percentage. This is in addition to the experiences that we've had with lawn, landscaping, snow removal, and other contractual expenses in recent years that have also gone up as revenues have stagnated. So, where do Franklin's tax dollars not go? We have recently completed a lengthy streetscape improvement project in our downtown that included sidewalks, plantings, trees, lighting, drainage improvements, parking access, crosswalks, and retaining walls, among other things. So how was the Streetscape project funded? The funding for the Streetscape project came from two principal sources: uncommitted funds from the sale of voter-approved street improvement bonds in 2017 left available approximately $1.6 million. The State Act 51 distribution allocation, which is the Highway Department's money for roads that it's distributed to local communities, was available in the village in 2020 in the amount of $1.1 million. Where does Franklin's property tax revenue come from? So property tax is the primary source of revenue for the village. State shared revenue is the distribution of sales tax collections based on the population of each local community. Cable revenue is the village share of cable franchise revenue. MMRMA is a consortium of local governments created to collectively manage risk, and we are our own risk insurer. This provides annual dividends on investment earnings. The State Department of Transportation reimburses the village for administrative costs related to Act 51 administration and record keeping. You'll recall from a previous slide, Act 51 is the source of road money provided to the state as a part of their efforts to maintain roads around the state. The other few sources of revenue provide about 1% of our annual revenue. To help you better understand the variety of village tax collections, let's take a look at your tax bill. You can see it has several different activities, each with a separate financial account. The general operating line, second from the top, covers village services and shows the current mill levy of 2.5639. As mentioned earlier, we are proposing an increase up to the charter authorized rate of 3.5 mils. So how will Headley affect you, the taxpayer, if the override is approved? To give you a rough idea, the 2022 taxable values shown in this chart are actual current taxable values of selected residential properties in the village. If you have your tax bill handy, you can find that taxable value also on your tax bill. The annual increase is calculated based on the difference between the Headley rate of 2.569 and the village charter rate of 3.5 mils. If you take a look again at this chart, there's just a row on one side on the left of various taxable values. On the right are the annual amounts by which that tax for that property would increase if this was approved, if the Headley Amendment was approved. You can also look this up on our website with a tax calculator that shows what it is for your specific property. When you go to vote, this is the ballot proposal you will see. Steps taken now will ensure that we will decrease the deficit, but not eliminate it. For that, a plan must be in place for next year. If you would like additional information about the upcoming ballot initiative, you can visit the village website at Franklin Village, Michigan. That's franklinvillagemi.gov. The website will have this presentation, a list of frequently asked questions and responses, and a tax calculator so you can figure out for yourself your potential tax increase. You can mark your calendar now for a town hall meeting at the Franklin Community Church on Wednesday, October 12th at 7 p.m., for which there will be an opportunity for you and others in the village to have a presentation on this same proposal. Thank you for your attention.